I'm now going to talk through our Tax Operations Maturity Model tool, or TOMM tool for short. So if you go to the next slide, please. So our Tax Operations Maturity Model tool is a simple to use diagnostic and benchmarking tool. The tool has been created based on established international principles to assess the relative maturity of your tax operations, tax governance, and underlying tax control framework. The TOMM provides transparency over your tax risks and helps to identify gaps in your tax control framework, which your key stakeholders can use to make informed and targeted management decisions, which can directly support your strategic tax objectives. The assessment focuses on all taxes, so not just corporation tax, and includes 80 questions for you to complete. The assessment identifies whether your maturity is one of 5 levels, and these are, as you can see on screen, level 1, undeveloped, level 2, developing, level 3, defined, level 4, managed, or level 5, optimized. And having a less mature tax control framework does tend to raise the level of risk for your business. You will shortly see a demo of the TOMM questionnaire, which I prepared earlier this morning, which shows how the questionnaire works in practice and is really there to show you how we work with the questionnaire. And it also includes details of the different versions of the TOMM available to you. In the last 12 months, we've really continued to improve our TOMM to make it easier for you to navigate, and also it is now fully customizable should you wish to tailor this further to your business. Next slide, please. So I'm now going to go through 2 case studies of projects we have worked in over the last 12 months. And firstly, we have a global strategy consultancy firm who is based in the UK, but with offices in the US and Asia. Now, this business wanted to review their approach to tax with a view of developing a best-in-class tax operating framework. We initially rolled out the TOMM questionnaire across those businesses and had interviews with those individuals who were completing the questionnaire to further understand the existing framework they had in place. Following the completion of the questionnaire, we had further interviews with the clients to discuss the results, and we created for them a set of prioritised actions, which then they could take forward, and we also assisted with them with future work streams. Also, we presented our findings to the board, which the client found really helpful in the form of a tax roadmap, portraying those prioritised actions in a nice visual way. Next slide, please. Secondly, we also worked with a global manufacturing business who was looking to implement a more centralised tax control framework, and the head of tax wanted to improve its reporting lines with regards to tax risk management. So initially, again, we held a workshop to walk through the questionnaire and customise it to the business, which we then rolled out to 60 of the group entities, some of which were not based in the UK. Following this, we created TOMM summary outputs for each of those 60 entities, and again, a set of prioritised recommendations for the business to take forward. We also created a summary report which the key stakeholders could use to compare different entities in the group, and again, compare different jurisdictions as well. I'm now going to share to you the recorded demonstration of our TOMM tool so you can see how this works in practice.
To access the Tax Operations Maturity Model tool, or TOMM tool, you can do so via our BDO Global portal. On the homepage of the portal, you can scroll down to the Quick Link section where you'll see access to the variety of TOMM questionnaires that we have. This includes TOMM questionnaires related to ESG or responsible tax, tax health checks, or tax questionnaires for those that fall under the Senior Accounting Officer regime. If you were to click on TOMM, you can also see that we have a variety of full TOMM questionnaires for lots of different countries. And we've been working hard with our BDO Global network to ensure that the questionnaires are relevant and appropriate for the respective jurisdictions shown on screen. If we were to click on Full TOMM UK, I'm now going to give you a flavour of what it feels like to complete the questionnaire. In the questionnaire, there are a number of different sections, and in each of the sections, there are a number of questions for you to answer via multiple choice. For example, in section 1 of the questionnaire, we look at tax strategy and tone of the top, including how often is tax on board agenda in your business. Once you've answered the questionnaire in each section, You can go to the next section, and we have covered a variety of topics. So in section 2, we cover tax governance and managing tax risk. But in later sections, we go into detail of specific taxes such as corporate tax, employment taxes, VAT and customs duty to the extent it is relevant. In tax governance and managing tax risk, we cover all around accountabilities and responsibilities. And again, you have a series of multiple choice questions, such as your tax process is documented? How do you define your tax risk management framework? And we also give you the opportunity at the bottom of this section to highlight where you think your 3 top key tax risks are for the business. So, for example, is it key man dependencies? Is it changes in tax law more generally? Or is it ongoing tax audits or the threat of tax audits which are upcoming? Once you've been through and submitted answers to each of the sections, this will then be sent to our BDO team, and we will develop your PowerPoint presentation, which will show you where you sit on a benchmark scale in terms of your tax control framework. This is an example of what the report looks like that you will get after you have completed the questionnaire. And you can see on the right-hand side of the screen the different levels in the tax control framework. And this ranges from level 1, from an undeveloped tax control framework, to level 5, which is fully optimised. In this example report, this business have got level 4 managed, and we detail here what that means for your business. And we also provide the full results to each of the questions in the questionnaire. If I scroll down, we can also show you that we highlight the key risk areas which have come out of the questionnaire. So, for example, for this business, it's customs duty, employment taxes, and compliance with the senior accounting officer regime and corporate criminal offence legislation. We also provide the results in a heat map, so you can visually see in a good way where you sit in the different levels in each of the sections. So we briefly talked about section 1 and section 2 around tax strategy and tax governance and tax risk management. And the business here is doing fairly well. This can be compared to managing transfer pricing risk, where this business is lower on the scale. At the beginning of this demonstration, I showed you how we have different TOMM questionnaires for different countries. And for those businesses who have global operations across multi-jurisdictions, we can provide a report which shows you how each of the individual businesses in the different countries scored, and you can compare these against each other. I hope that this helps demonstrate the output of the TOMM questionnaire, and please do let us know if you have any questions on this.